To make these clay pumpkins, you'll need Model Magic clay, and I'm using white, but you can also use colored clay if you find it. You'll need parchment paper, a cup of water with a paintbrush. You'll need a paper plate to put your paint on, a paper towel, and then some clay tools. You'll really only need this pointed one. You can also use the back of a paintbrush or a skewer. And then my acrylic paint, I'm using green and orange. So I'm going to show you how to make this little tiny cute pumpkin, and then also a little pumpkin tray. We're going to start with a pumpkin, and you're going to, whatever size pumpkin that you want, it doesn't matter. You're just going to roll that into a ball, into a sphere, and then you're just going to kind of press down the top and the bottom to make it just a little bit less round. And then next up, we'll make our stem. So that's just a little cylinder, and you're gonna have to experiment a little bit with the size. You'll just roll a little snake, and then press that top nice and flat. And remember, this clay is gonna stick to itself, so experimenting, trying to put it on top, it might be a little bit sticky. And now I'm just going to take the back of my tool here and just make a little bit of a hole so that stem has just a little bit of an area to go. I'm just making sure it's nice and round. So I'm just testing the size. It looks like it needs to be a little shorter. And then I kind of tapered it at the end to see if it will fit in that hole, and then I just kind of smushed it in. And then we'll make a couple of leaves. And these will just be teardrop shapes. And then if you want to, you can add a couple lines on there to make them look like leaves. So I'm going to make those little indents in my pumpkin using the side of that pointed tool. And I'm just I'm being very gentle holding my pumpkin. I don't want to squish it too much. And I'm just starting at the top and kind of rolling my tool down. And here I'm going to add my little lines to my leaves. And there's your cute little pumpkin. So let that dry about 24 hours before you paint it. And then I'm going to show you how to make this tray. So we're going to start with our stem. I'm just going to square off the top of it and then kind of flare it out at the bottom. And now for this tray, this is like a shallow dish. You can put your earrings, your rings. It's about 1/4 of an inch thick all the way around. So just keep checking your thickness. I'm just pinching it between my fingers and my thumbs, and rotating it as I go. Trying to make sure it's even on all sides. And right now what we're looking for is just kind of a circle. And then we're going to thin out those sides as we go along. Kind of raising those sides up. And then we have the top part is rounded, and then that bottom part is kind of indented so that it looks like a pumpkin. And then you can add your stem. And it kind of wants to fall backwards, so while it's drying, I like to just put something to prop it up. All right, next up, let's get our paint ready. These have already dried about 24 hours. They're completely dry. And now we're just going to paint the orange part, trying to avoid the stem and the leaves because I'm going to paint those a different color. I'm going to let that dry while I get the pumpkin tray painted. Since I've already got my orange out, I'm going to do the orange part of that pumpkin. Then we'll let that dry and then do the green. Going nice and slow by that stem so that you don't get paint on that part. All right, now for the green, just being careful not to touch that orange with it. If you have the time, let that dry completely. And there you have your cute little pumpkin and your pumpkin tray.